Bokufi Kokufa. Jean-François Ndengue est là.
Yes, we would like to thank our sponsors, the Toronto Arts Council, the Ontario Arts Council, Heritage Canada, and Canada Council for the Arts for providing us the funds to present this event. We also have our community partners, GTA Luxury Real Estate, Convo Media, and Suya Sport. These are organizations within our community that help us to reach a wider audience. Welcome to AFROFEST 2021. We're glad to have you here with us, and we hope that you're going to enjoy the show that we're going to present to you. For 33 years, Music Africa has presented African music and culture in the heart of Toronto. We've gone through ups and downs, and this year we had a pandemic, but I'm so happy that the city is finally opening up. I think on the 16th of this month, we're going to get into stage 3, which means we'll finally be able to have outdoor events which will bring thousands of people together. But for now, considering that all the planning has already been done, we're going to have a virtual and a drive-in festival. We have a very decent lineup for you guys. It's very beautiful. We hope that you're going to stay through from the 16th through to the 25th of this month to enjoy the show. Thank you.
L'ingénieur de son, Guy Noël Combo. Chop chop, monsieur le président, Kosti Eka. Adam Akouyaté. Modibo Soirée.
When a man comes home from a hard day's work, he enjoys nothing better than a hot The Suya Spot, Canada's #1 Suya Spot.
Hello everyone, thank you guys so much for having me here today. Once again, my name is Tracy K, and today I'll be doing 2 acts for you. The first one that I'll be doing is a spoken word poem. Hello everyone, thank you guys so much for having me here today. I'm super excited and honored to be sharing this stage with you all. And today I'm going to be performing 2 acts. I'm going to be doing a spoken word poem called Rise, and I'm also going to be singing my first single called Take Me. I hope you guys enjoy. this guy walked up to my West African sister who was sitting to my left-hand side, and he told her that her natural hair looked like it stank. And I quote, "Take that dirty mop-ish off of your hair and put some like weave or at least some braids in it," he said. Now I can tell you that day she left the house with confidence, only for it to be destroyed by a male who seemed less than a man, with the inability to understand that when the Europeans came and invaded the motherland, they conditioned our minds and criticized us for our genetics while demanding assimilation with the hopes of destroying a nation. And guess what? It worked. "Take that dirty mop-ish off of your hair" echoes within my mind, constantly replaying all the time. You see, the problem with society is that women have never had the freedom to freely express themselves. Why is it that we as women must always conform to Western society's definition of beauty in order to be considered beautiful? And even then, there are many Western women who are not accepted and do not fall under that category. For instance, you must be thin, blonde hair, blue eyes, maybe even green, pale but not too pale. You must have a tan, but just not dark enough for them to mistaken you as colored. And now it's sort of kind of changing. See, as long as you have a small nose, straight hair, no kink, thick lips, small waist, thick hips, with an ass, you're okay. And even in society, or should I say men, no, actually I meant little boys, will still find ways to degrade you into merely body parts. Body parts. As if females were some type of luxurious con. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some attention-seeking females who reinforce men's disgusting, misogynistic ways and who crave for their attention, but it's only because for many years society has taught us women to never love our imperfections, but to hate them. So she combs through the kinks of her hair like she combs through men, giving the most vulnerable parts of her entity to the undeserving ones who would rather change her identity to fit a stereotype than allow her to be herself. Her insecurities are cries for help, while each action is an attempt at suicide. See, every social injection is injecting stereotypes while infecting her mind, so she gets Botox injections just to fill what society has deemed as imperfections. But then she begins to question whether she has lost her mind, but in her mind it is worth it. Because society reinforces her with compliments, and since she never learned to love herself, she fiends for these compliments because they are a representation of social acceptance. But forget social acceptance. Society cannot and will never be satiated. It's forever changing with the wind from generation to generation, and since each generation dictates the norm, she will never truly be accepted but always rejected in some form and aspect. See, instead of learning to love herself, she loved a society that could never love her back. A society filled with whack-ass opinions but never facts. See, she never realized that the only opinion that ever mattered was her own, but for some reason, the only opinion that never mattered was her own. With every injection came conformity. Yet her true beauty was her abnormality, now permanently erased. All she had left was her personality, and that became shaped to mimic a society that never knew nor loved her. See, her true beauty was shaped in the image of the Most High, but now is permanently erased and shaped in the image of the fallen star that no longer shines bright but survives off of stolen light. See, you and you and you are beautiful just the way you are. You could be as pale as the moon or as deep as the midnight sky. See, that type of beauty is endless. That type of beauty, it never dies. See, we as females rise through and from every occasion, from the possibilities of bearing life to protecting an entire nation. We rise. Thank you. So once again, that was my poem called Rise. And next I'll be singing my single, my first single actually, called Take Me. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Take me on a trip, I'd like to go away. Take me on a trip, I'd like to go far away. Far away. Take me on a trip, I'd like to fly away. Fly away. Take me on a trip, I'd like to fly far away. And so take me far away when I don't wanna be here no longer. Just take me far away, yeah, yeah. Take me far away. Love me more than you have ever loved someone. Love me more than you will ever love anyone. Anyone. Love me more than you have ever loved someone before. Love me the way I deserve to be loved for eternity. You and me, yeah, yeah, yeah. So love me more, and hold me, love me more. Just take me far away when I don't wanna be here no longer. No, no, no. Take me far away, yeah, yeah, yeah. Take me far away. Femme free, I know me pesa maintenant, be on my way. Yeah. Mais c'est femme free, I know me pesa maintenant, be on my way. Femme free, I know me pesa maintenant, be on my way. Ooh, femme free, I know me pesa maintenant, be on my way. Take me, femme, oh no, no, just take me. Femme, oh no, just take me. Femme, just take me. Just take me. Take me. When I don't wanna be without you. Take me far away. Take me far away. Thank you guys very much. I'm Tracy K, and see y'all next year.
In Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you that don't know, that was Mr. Kanda Bongo Man. All right. So I just gave you guys some Kanda Bongo Man, straight from Congo. My name is Amanie, Illfated, and I was born in what's now called South Sudan. And I have a bunch of songs that I would love to sing for you guys. All right. Shots, too many kids stranded alone. Ain't got a little that will take us to the height we should be. Just a puppet on a string who could run for the sake of money. What me say? Say what you wanna say. Do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. What you wanna say, do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. Not going far if we're standing here fighting ourselves. The real enemy is pretending to send all of us help. A bag of rice, here's a tent, get your rights. But they just keep pushing us down and walk away like they did something for us. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do. No more now, we need a peacemaker. No more now, we need a peacemaker. Thank you. So that song was called Peacemaker. So the next song that I'm gonna do, I actually dedicate this out to my father and to all of the refugees that have come from other countries to Canada. Now, when we first came, we thought everything would be absolutely amazing, that money would grow off of trees and that houses would be the size of mansions. And although we did have good experiences here in Canada, we did experience a little bit of the dark side, including racism and classism. So this song is dedicated to everybody who's a refugee and to my father. They don't like who we are, 'cause we come from afar. History in our blood, borders broken by floods, and we all say, Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Run to the hills now. Scared of pigmented flesh, cannot stand our success. Build a wall to protect. Slavery to digress. And we all say, Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Our past is full of pain. We do not come from peace. Run into Parliament or the hills of Beverly. Should we be headed for wanting better lives? Should we be headed for wanting better lives? And we all say, Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Ola, Nei Hao, Salam, Salut, Kif, Kif, Kif. Run to the hills now. Run to the hills now. Run to the hills now. Thank you guys. So that song is called The Hills. And there's a lot of different languages that are in there. So I'll kind of go through it. So the first one is Hola, which I know many of you guys know is Spanish. Nei Hao, which is Chinese. Salam, which is Arabic. Salut, which is French. And there's a little bit of Arabic Juba in there. Kif, which just basically means how are you? And then Run to the Hills. This next song is going out to all of my queens. If you're stepping up to me, oh, if you're stepping up to me, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. If you think you control me, oh, if you think you control me, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. Looks like all this time you thought I was your type, the kind that smiles at all you say cause she's too nice. All that suppression, oh, it really ain't my style. Come meet my boundaries, they might be a surprise. You better watch yourself with me, no need to talk to ish with me. You may be small, but don't forget I've got a mind. You better watch yourself with me, no need to talk to ish with me. You may be small, better keep yourself in line. If you're stepping up to me, oh, if you're stepping up to me, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. If you think you control me, oh, if you think you control me, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. If you think I ain't a queen, oh, if you think I ain't a queen, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. If you're stepping up to me, oh, if you're stepping up to me, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. Why? Cause I'm as black as I can be. I'm as black as I can be. Unapologetically. Still as black as I can be. Don't you step to me like I am just a prize. I'm not some blow-up doll that you can fetishize. No, I won't bleach my skin, I like my melanin strong. If you can't take it, shut your mouth and move along. He says I'm really pretty for a black girl. He says I'm really smart for a black girl. He says I'm really classy for a black girl. But what does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean? He says I'm really pretty for a black girl. He says I'm really smart for a black girl. He says I'm really classy for a black girl. What does that mean for a black girl, black girl? If you're stepping up to me, oh, if you're stepping up to me, I ain't gon' step back, I ain't gon' step back. If you think you control me, control me, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. If you think I ain't a queen, oh, if you think I ain't a queen, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. If you're stepping up to me, oh, if you're stepping up to me, I ain't gon' sit back, I ain't gon' sit back. Why? Cause I'm as black as I can be. I'm as black as I can be. Unapologetically. Girl, you gotta keep your head up. Mother's trying to knock your crown down. Ladies, you gotta keep your head up. I'm as black as I can be. I'm as black as I can be. Unapologetically. Still as black as I can be. And I ain't gonna sit back, no. So the next song is called You Will Never Know. And I wrote this about my experiences being both South Sudanese and Canadian and how paradoxical it is to be that way. So again, this is You Will Never Know. Just another girl from Kayy, Equatorian. Matakelemia Haja. You don't know who I am, and you will never know. You will never know. No, you will never know. You will never know. Just another girl from Yay, girl from South Sudan. Matakelemia Haja. You don't know who I am, and you will never know. You will never know. No, you will never know. Juba, now Canadian. Months together, me a Haja. You don't know who I am, and you will never know. You will never know. No, you will never know. You will never know. Go ahead and say what you wanna say. You will never know. I'm on any shot, but rap me 'cause my fogo. But don't know who I am. Go ahead and say what you wanna say. You will never know. I'm on any shot, but rap me 'cause my fogo. But don't know who I am. Go ahead and say what you wanna say. What you wanna say. Hey, well, I'm on any shot, but rap me 'cause my fogo. You will never know, never know. You will never know, you'll never know. You will never know, never know. You will never know, you'll never know. No, you will never know. You will never know. No, you will never know. You will never know. Awesome. Yeah, so that song was called You Will Never Know. Awesome. So the next song is a little special song that goes out to everybody. It's called Everything. You say that you know from the sun, but you shine so bright. You say you know from the universe, but the stars in your eyes. You say that you know from the ocean, but you soak my heart. You say that you know from the sky, but you're so divine. Everything you think, everything you are, every breath you breathe takes me so far. Everything you think, everything you are makes it so hard to be apart. I could never see a thing, then I saw you. Never knew what time would bring me, then it brought you. Hey, and I can't say I've ever been this high, never fall back. Love could make me fly, and I can't say I So, I'd like to give a very big thank you to everybody who has made this happen. To Music Africa, to DC Music, to all these wonderful guys back here, Mr. Mario, Beenie, Dali, Wagner, the entire video crew. But the most important thank you that I have to give out is to the wonderful people who are at home right now watching this. And that is you. Everything you think, everything you are, every breath you breathe takes me so far. Everything you think, everything you are makes it so hard to be apart. Everything you think, everything you are makes it so hard to be apart. Everything you think, everything you are makes it so hard to be apart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So, I have one last song for you guys. And it's too bad that we're not in the same room to really experience this, because otherwise I would ask you a very, very big favor. It's not too big, it's actually just to dance. But I think that you guys can do that from home right now. So if you're sitting on the chair, you're in the washroom, wherever you are, just get up and dance. The rhythm section has got something amazing for you. This song is called You and Me. So getting up and moving your hips like this. And like this. Yeah. What? Shake your hips. Shake your hips. AFROFEST. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Amanie, Illfated, and behind me, I have the rhythm section. These amazing guys are bringing these songs to life to you. Thank you, DC Music, for having us here. Thank you to everybody who put this together. Without you guys, this wouldn't have been possible. If you like what you hear, you can check me out, Amanie, Illfated. That's AMANIE ILLFATED. On Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, the whole interwebs. Thank you so much. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome, my name is Jermaine Henry, and I am here with AFROFEST leader, Peter. Peter, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I feel blessed to be a part of AFROFEST this year, even though it's a unique way. I remember going by Woodbine Beach and always going in. There'll be drumming, there'll be art all around. Just, it's a vibe, cultural vibe.
Yes, it is.
How are y'all managing with COVID? How are you gonna do this year?
Believe me, it has been really, really difficult, especially transitioning from an event where you have hundreds of thousands of people to one in which you're dealing with computers, we're dealing with a set and all
Yeah.
whatnot. That has been a bit challenging, but irrespective of how challenging things may be, we always find a way to do something to engage our community. This is one of them.
Ooh, okay, so normally it's about 9 days, it's in person, so it's gonna be virtual this year. And I'm a part of something special, but what do you have going on for the AFROFEST this year?
Yes, so right now, AFROFEST actually started on the 16th of this month, so we've been running it now for 9 days. It started as a virtual event, and then we did 2 days a drive-in. So we had artists go, and this is just an opportunity for people to come out of their houses.
Yeah.
It's not a full experience, but just part of it, you know. Then we went back to our virtual, we have over 30 artists performing. And then the interesting part is we understand at this point that even though Canada is opening up, Africa is closing down. Because the COVID-19 is kind of increasing. So we decided to do something, and knowing that this is what already happened in India. India has an experience in dealing with this, and they're still dealing with it.
Yeah.
And India is very close to East Africa and Africa in general. So we felt it's important to have a panel discussion with people from East Africa and people who have got experience in India, just to talk about what it is like, and to see, okay, is there something that has been learned from what has happened in India that can be adopted in Africa? So we're trying to touch as much as possible.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad because I'm a part of this. Yeah, I'm a part of this panel. But I love the relationship that I think is happening with our cultures, because even that conversation, which you're going to be able to tune in soon, is how our food, our music, right? Those are things that have to do with how we relate with each other. And honestly, it helps to build solidarity. So I really hope that whoever's tuning in for this panel discussion, that they feel like a sense of connection and also a sense of what can we do to help?
Yes, it's important. The work that we do and the work that you do is important, because I feel irrespective of what happens to us, we always need to connect with our community. We always need to connect with our culture. There is this element, I read an article a few days ago, which said during COVID-19, a lot of people are depressed. After staying home for so long, it affects you mentally.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that even through this, we find ways of telling people that it's not the end, you know, there are things that we can do to come together. This is one of them, and I appreciate you taking your time, talking to me. So yeah, that's nice.
This has been good. I'm glad you heard it first from Peter, and check out our panel with some amazing panelists who are really gonna speak about how can we address this COVID-19 resurgence that's going on in India, and how it's affecting Africa, and most specifically East Africa, and what are ways that what do we need to be aware of, but also what can we do to help. And this is an example of how we can still show excellence in the midst of tragedy, in the midst of a pandemic. We are still bringing you AFROFEST. So welcome to AFROFEST. My name is Jermaine Henry. I am the moderator for today, and today we're going to be exploring this long history of cultural exchange between India and Africa, more specifically East Africa. India is in the midst of a COVID-19 surge, and this surge is migrated to Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Somalia, and other parts in the African continent. The pandemic has triggered a series of interlinked extremities, and global cooperation and collaboration is urgently needed. So, to ensure our shared survival, we're exploring India and East Africa, and in depth looking at the perspectives of today. So, I'm gonna go through how things are gonna go today. I'm gonna share intros to our lovely panelists, amazing panelists today, and then we're gonna ask the questions and talk about our shared culture and the interdependencies of our survival with India and East Africa. So I'm excited to share with you our panelists for today. We got Karim. Karim has created the Elevate Talent Program and leads it as well. Karim has led in various sectors, including retail, health, education, architecture, and open space planning, urban planning, cultural spaces, museums, parks, you name it. Throughout his career, Karim has built a broad base of functional set of skills, traversing from strategy, planning, cross-cultural communication, relationship management, change management strategies, business process design, financial system development, revenue enhancement, operational aspects. Karim's gonna have a lot of good things to say today. Next, we have Osobe, who is actually Toronto-based Ethiopian Somali Francophone, editor-in-chief of Six Buzz, Graduated from University of Toronto with a specialty in journalism and news media diploma from Centennial College. Before Six Buzz, she worked at Narcity, Star, Toronto Star, and the Canadian Press, Vice, and CBC. Amazing. Last but not least, we got the great Burleson. Burleson is a multi-dimensional and multidisciplinary artist. Based in Toronto, he has previously lived in Paris, France, was born and raised in Congo and Gabon, Central Africa. His international background and experience widely is open with his vision, and his world has really, let me bring that back. And his experience widely opened his vision of the world and plays a huge role in his creativity. Mainly known as a rapper and musician and spoken word artist, Burleson brings an Afrofuturism vibe to it in everything he does, really. So, are you excited? Are you ready? We're gonna have a conversation now. First question I have to our panelists. Are y'all ready for this?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, let's go. I'm actually gonna start with you, actually. We're gonna start with you. So, we're in this unprecedented time, right? Where globally we're seeing that we're all going through these crises. However, in your professional world, how is this highlighting your own cultural background and where you come from? How are you thinking about your culture as you go into your professional work in today's global world?
So that's a really good question. So first of all, I think one thing to realize is that a lot of the migration that happened from India, which is West India, into East Africa, were primarily professionals and entrepreneurs. So there's always been that notion that when you go there, it was about growth. It wasn't about just moving there, but it was really around opportunities and creating the opportunities and building economies as we grow along. By the way, I always forget, we were born in the Congo together. So that's the interesting part. Like, I was actually born in the Congo. My mom was born in Tanzania. My father is from South Africa, but grew up back in India. And then I lived in South America, so I grew up in South America. So my journey's been actually quite different to get to Canada. And I say this because it's important to understand that cultural dimensions move with us as we move continents, right? So that doesn't go away from us. But what this pandemic has heightened to me is that we live in an interconnected community, and that community is a global community today. So what we do here today, we can actually easily do anywhere else. And we can support communities globally today, and we don't actually have to go there anymore. So I think that is one thing that I've definitely seen coming out of this, and where I see opportunities to build those non-traditional alliances between East and West.
Beautiful. I wonder if there's more, is there anything you want to piggyback off of that?
I mean, maybe also because
Yeah, I can add to that. I mean, what stands out from your question for me about how my culture influences like my professional life. So I'm half Somali, half Ethiopian, and Somalia just recently celebrated their independence on July 1st. So for me, it's always a reminder of like how far we've come as a nation. On top of that, I come from a culture where women are the leaders of their communities. So for me to be in a position of leadership, being an editor-in-chief, that makes me really proud, and it makes my community really proud because you know, my mom like leads my household, and she's an amazing woman. So I think she's very proud that I'm leading my household, but in a different way. I think women who are millennials, like we're growing up in an age where we're less about family, but more about like work right now. I mean, family will come in time, and it's super important to me. But for my mom, that was her goal, you know, being a mother, which is so important. So I'm still doing that, but in a different capacity. So it means a lot to me to be able to kind of give back to my community in a way that I've grown up seeing the women around me be strong. So it's kind of like a full circle for all of us, and it means a lot to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because now you're leading, you know, you're editor-in-chief, you're leading, and honestly, I'm sure there's a lot of care you have to bring on your team, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Burleson.
I mean, what I can add maybe to piggyback what Karim said is that there's definitely more similarity, I feel, between like the cultures of the South, those countries and areas of the world that we call the South. There's definitely more things in common, that things that kind of like make us being different, and it's interesting to me to see that actually there's way more and more collaboration between those cultures and those populations, and we really actually taking those cultures and traditions with us wherever we go. And at the end of the day, it's more about staying true to who you are while actually finding your place wherever you decide to go and create opportunities for yourself and for your family and your community.
And I guess in these times that we're in such unprecedented times, urgent times, we're going through this pandemic, how important it is for these collaborations and for these connections of cross culture? How do you see it coming into play now?
I mean, when it comes to this global situation, right, so we're in a situation where it's a pandemic, and we definitely all realize that that virus doesn't really discriminate. So I think to me that should wear awareness in the sense that we all are affected by a common problem or like a common enemy, and that should actually show how all of us across the globe, we should collaborate more in order to actually find a common solutions, right? Even though maybe the approach might be a little bit different, but the end goal is literally like to be able to survive and make it through that pandemic and grow from there, right? So, and that's what actually been visible, like the collaboration between many countries, scientists, and things like that. So, hopefully we're going to see more actually collaboration and more unity between cultures, especially when we have, again, a pandemic and a virus that doesn't, discriminate. It affects literally everybody everywhere. So, yeah. And
I'll even open it to, or even go even closer to, are we seeing it with India and East Africa? Are you seeing some of that connection?
Yeah, so I'm going to interrupt, because I think the important part that we forget about is actually accessibility discrimination. Right? So if you want to, it's an issue we all have to deal with, right? There's no wrong answer. The right answer is to create accessibility, right? So when you look at even the disparity in India, where it has major production facilities of vaccines, but are all going outside of India, that is almost like internal discrimination from a financial perspective.
Interesting.
So why is it that vaccines, where are sitting around everywhere, aren't being distributed? So to me, I think culturally there's an issue, but there's also an accessibility issue that's a greater issue that we all need to start looking at. And if you take it back to where we are today, we see accessibility discrimination even in Canada. Like if you think about where vaccines are available versus not available, you actually look at communities of Black, Indigenous, and people of color where vaccination rates are lower compared to everywhere else at the beginning. Now they're picking up, of course. So I think even culturally, these communities are aligned in different ways and trying to improve the basic realms that they have together, right? You see a lot of work being done around brown people to support Black people, right? We realize that being brown, that we actually have a set of privilege already embedded within us. So that's reality. It is what it is. And I have to come to terms with that also.
One thing interesting, like in some of the work I've done with actually one of our sponsors, MyTree Platform, who's doing this COVID response, is I found out that because of what's going on in India with the vaccines and everything, the situation, it affects actually Uganda, because they're planning on actually getting some of their vaccines from India.
Yep.
When you're going to get medical supplies and whatnot, they go to India. So I wonder, you're just speaking to that, how it's real life accessibility, right? Issues that are there.
True, and a lot of it boils down to dollars and cents, right? So where are the dollars and cents and where is the accessibility? I think we as a community have to do much better as a global community to address the continents where we see the highest risk to start forming before it gets there, right? So Africa was a wonderful continent in the sense that it didn't have as many initial issues around COVID as it is having today. So imagine if it was suppressed there at the initial stages through the COVAX programming, then it probably wouldn't be in the situation it's going to be in the next year.
Interesting.
So it's just taking different perspectives as to accessibility to vaccines. Being somebody who family is from East Africa primarily, I'm like, this isn't good, right? So we see this and we have those challenges within us now being Indian, and even Indians in East Africa face it fairly hard because they have privilege there, and that's the reality of it, right? So,
Yeah, just to add, I feel like I agree with both of you guys. I mean, you mentioned that how, the vaccine doesn't discriminate, it'll kill anyone. It'll kill a billionaire the same way it'll kill a homeless man. But I also agree with you in the sense of like, there is discrimination in where you're getting your vaccines, who's a priority versus other people. And when you think about like the numbers in India and how outrageous they are, I mean, 17 million people, caught COVID, and that's just reports back in April. I reported a little bit about it myself, and one stat that I got from Al Jazeera English, for example, is the COVID-19 cases were equivalent to one person dying every 5 minutes. And I just kind of think about if we had that in Canada, there'd be outrage nationally. Like it wouldn't go down like that. European countries would come to our aid. So when you talk about how people depend on India in other countries, we're just kind of all just fending for ourselves in a way.
Wow.
So even with Canada giving oxygen tanks to India because there was a hashtag going on, India can't breathe. Doctors had to turn people away just because they didn't have enough oxygen tanks for their ICUs. So it just reminds us of like how privileged we are to live here, whether you're a Canadian, like you're Indian and you're Canadian, or you're East African and you live in Canada. Like I might live here, but I'll never understand what they're going through back home. I can only feel it because they're my people, they look like me. But then bottom line, they're human. Yeah. So it is pretty sad to see how this has kind of been playing out in front of our eyes. And I guess all we can do is just kind of hope and just do the most that we can through like government reform and all that stuff. Yeah.
There's something that you're speaking to, I wonder if we can get on, is like, it seems like communication is very important, of just even knowing what's going on. Like even for me, even having a little bit of knowledge of how vaccines are going to Uganda from India, that's because I'm in relationship with people, right? And you're speaking to even how social media, like how are we communicating between cultures with each other to help in this time,
Yeah, so I think it's definitely first, I would say, at the leadership level, because most of the time in those countries, the way the people operate is like you always like look up to the people that are being elected, and then you actually expecting them to take the lead and make decisions for the population. But at the same time, we're literally also living in survival mode in many of these areas where literally from some testimony, people were like, okay, sure, should I stay home and maybe die of hunger because every day is when I go out to make my money and make my bread, or should I just wait? And so at some point it's more about finding a balance between being maybe like killed by a virus or maybe killed by hunger.
Wow.
And when you don't really see that the leaders are like, communicating efficiently, putting in place, measures and things like that, then that can be very disturbing and confusing for the populations, right? And then I feel like, communication and putting in place measures from the leadership level first, then definitely would help. Because even getting those vaccines shipped from India, for instance, to East Africa, then you also need some infrastructure, you also need some staffing, all of that. So definitely first I would say the leadership level, but it's also beautiful to see a lot of NGOs or local, movements that are also doing the work as better as possible with the resources that they have in place right now.
Sorry, I like the fact that we mentioned like social media, like going back to like, the hashtag India can't breathe.
Yeah.
Although these things are important for us to know what's going on, sometimes I feel like that's where it ends. It ends with that hashtag, it ends with that conversation until people start applying pressure to like, politicians to do more. And what this pandemic showed me was just, again, the privilege that we have. COVID was obviously rampant, but we were at home watching Netflix. We were, locked down. We were upset that we couldn't go to restaurants and, go out. But of course, that's our reality and that's fine. But we still have to remember that other people, like you said, it's like, if I go to the market today, will I die? Because I know that if I get sick, there's not going to be an ICU. There's not going to be a vaccine for me. The same way that, me being here, if I fall to the ground, an ambulance is going to come pick me up and take care of me. But that's not the same in, other parts of the world.
Absolutely.
Anything, Krim, anything you want to even mention about this COVID response that you're seeing?
So I think the COVID response has been really interesting. For me, when I look at it and, especially from a perspective of representation, I think to me that's been a really big issue for me. It's that, you know, there was an article that came out with the Globe and Mail and a map of Toronto, and when it showed vaccine intensity rates and application rates and usage rates, it had like the stream going right down the middle of Toronto that was all lit up to say first vaccines, fully vaccinated, happening down this corridor first, and then a little bit on the sides, and then nothing in the middle, like nothing in the other areas. What that showed me really clearly is that no matter where you came from in terms of race, gender, or any other form of that nature, if you lived in the spine of Toronto, you were more likely to be vaccinated and had access to vaccines than in any other situation possible. And that was reality, and we knew that, and we saw that, right? So I think what needs to happen is that this needs to be taken as a case of learning. So a lot of times what happens in situations like today is that we keep looking backwards but not looking forward. So my thoughts around all of this is that, you know, we've learned a lot from this pandemic, and there's going to be another one. And what we have to realize is that COVID response has to be representational. COVID response has to be by the hardest hit communities and the most likely to be hardest hit communities first. And then you can filter it out, because the areas of privilege along the spine probably needed it last. They're the ones that have 5,000 square foot homes, access to funding, ability to order in food, all those things of nature. We need to think about the people that are most affected, that actually serve in many cases the people along the spine to go get groceries, to go get their pharmacies. And that's the way I think we need to change our discussion about representation, and not just underrepresented communities, but how do we actually represent the society that we live within.
Beautifully said. Yeah. I'm really curious of like how we express these messages, right? Because I think there's something about getting the message out there, and a lot of things that I see from our shared cultures, when you talk about India and you talk about Africa, more specifically East Africa, it's like we know how to get people involved, whether it be through a drum, whether it be through a song, whether it be through food, right? These are different ways, because I realize we're talking about all these, you know, heavy things, but at the end of the day, we got to connect as people for the message to get there and to build that relationship, because without that relationship, we won't necessarily care enough to take action. So what are you seeing of like cultural ways that we can see our cultures come together to take action?
I mean, again, to me, it's just really like trying to really strengthen the relationship between those areas of the South, because we saw where, again, the response to COVID, there was a lot of like discrimination and also a lot of like privilege that we really were witnessing. So I really feel like if those countries of the South, so let's say India and many parts of Africa, especially the east side of Africa, really strengthen their relationship and not necessarily wait for leadership from First Nation, if I can say like that, then I think we can see definitely a better response to any pandemic, and learning from also making mistakes during this pandemic, because just like Karen said, there's currently chances that another one happen at some point. And if we learn enough from this response of COVID-19, then hopefully whenever there is another one, then this time we will be more prepared, and there will be already relationships that have been strengthened by this current one that we're going through right now. And yeah.
When I hear like our cultures and the similarities that we have, it just makes me think about like when you live in Canada, you're so used to growing up with people who look different than you, different religions, backgrounds, and you almost get really protective over them when something's happening to their homelands. So for example, I have a lot of friends who are Indian, and what I love is that is it called diaspora? I was gonna say diaspora, but the diaspora, you know, here we really show up for each other. So when we heard about what was happening in India, a lot of people were pressuring the government to act. And it wasn't just Indian people doing it, of course, it was everybody doing it for them, because you know, I have friends who have inspired me growing up, right? It kind of goes back to that culture where it's like, I have friends who will put me in a sari and I'll put them in a dira. And like, we can't just show up for each other when it's fun, when it's a wedding. We got to show up to each other when it's like important and when it matters the most. So I think it's just such a beautiful thing when you have a similar culture and you understand each other. You really push for each other and you fight for each other.
That is so beautiful.
Sorry, I just want to say one thing, and then one of the most important parts about our communities is our food.
Food.
I don't actually think people realize how there's commonness, but different language. Like the roti or the chapati or the tortilla, right? Like they're all used across multiple areas, or cassava as an example.
True.
You know, it's a primary ingredient from India, actually all the way to Latin America. Like, I mean, there's unrealized connections that we have in our food. Now, wouldn't it be great if we could just put vaccines on that? And then we would have solved many issues, right? So I think we should always look at, and I'm going to end on this note, East African culture revolves around food. In fact, a lot of African and Indian cultures revolve around sitting at a table and having the conversations. You know, that can drag on for hours and hours. And I think that is like one of the things that binds us together is actually the food and conversations.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I hope the people that are at home are eating some food right now, or at least they're gonna like go get some nice food. Any last words as we're gonna wrap up? What calls to action would you give to people right now? Just call to action.
Yeah, I would just say find what inspires you and what you love and find a way to use it to help people. For me, journalism was something that I've loved my whole life, and it's something that meant a lot to me. And I always knew that I would use that to help others, whether that means ethically reporting on what's happening in India or other parts of the world that mainstream media fails at doing. That's kind of how I do my part in society. So whether you like dancing or cooking, like find a way to use that to spread the message or to help people.
Thank you.
Yeah, literally, I would piggyback on what she's saying. Me being an artist, I always use my art to send messages, and I can maybe share it exclusively here that I'm planning to work on a documentary about the impact of COVID-19. So, and especially being focused on those categories of the population that have been the most affected by COVID, because again, also, just like I mentioned, I saw those maps showing how Toronto, there was so much inequity in terms of like access to whether the vaccine or any other like, you know, care related to COVID, right? So I'm planning, to work on a documentary and use my platform and voice to give a platform to those people from those communities that have been seriously affected by the pandemic.
We'll be looking out.
Yeah.
Be deliberate about making change without affecting your morals or values.
Wow. Yeah. This has been beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much to AFROFEST for putting on this event. We want to thank our partners. We want to thank the Goot Institute, as well as we want to thank Music Africa, My Chi Platform, and Yukai Projects for the partnership. Thank you to Taylor Kayy for opening up today's event. Thank you to all our panelists. You've been amazing. Borelson, Karim, Osebe. And we just want to finally say, here's a call to action. Where can you help for COVID-19? We need your help today. Help out in India, help out in Africa, East Africa. Wherever it is in the world, wherever possible, help today. Thank you for tuning in.
Kasate mukakoti munzikiza iyenkweka tochi bine vya fesi vya mukoti tonyigiriza baby tonkola boti Kasati mukakoti munzikiza iyenkweka tochi bine vya fesi vya mukoti tonyigiriza baby tonkola boti Hey, I still love you, I still love you Even though you hurt me, I still love you, I still love you Baby, I know you know the truth, I know you know the truth Deep inside, I know you know the truth, I know you know me bruise But still I love you like crazy Yeah, inside deep, you my baby Baby, but still I love you like crazy Wacha, ay. Kasate mukakoti, munzikiza, yekweka tochi. Beenie vya feti vya mukoti, tonyigiriza baby tonko la voti. Yeah, kasate mukakoti, munzikiza, yekweka tochi. Beenie vya feti vya mukoti, tonyigiriza baby tonko la voti. Wacha now, I still love you. I still love you. Yeah, now, even though you hurt me, I still love you. I still love you. I know you know the truth. I know you know the truth. Deep inside, I know you know me bruised. I know you know. I know you know that, but still I love you like crazy. Yeah, yeah. Tell them inside deep, you're my baby, baby, yeah, yeah. But still I love you like crazy. Inside deep, inside deep. We're done. If not you, who is gonna? No. Oh, night. Oh, night. I done everything just to show you that I love you. Oh, my. I've done all just to show you. Who is gonna love me? Who is gonna, if not you? Who is gonna love me? Who is gonna, yeah, yeah. If you don't love me, who is gonna love me? Gonna love me? If you don't trust me, who is gonna trust me? Gonna trust me? By now, you shoulda known me love you by now, baby. By now, you shoulda trust me by now. Yeah, me know you're too bad for business. But again, you are my weakness. Yeah, feel love you as no request. Straight up love or no pretense. Yeah, mine slow, mama. You doing all me can't live. Yeah, go down, down. You doing all me can't live. Mister, ready for the one me would lost them for you. I you me big, so me have done for you. Yeah, me ready for the back up of the box and fire. Shoot me no fi bounce, yeah. If you don't love me, who is gonna love me? If you don't trust me, who is gonna trust me? Me say, by now, you shoulda known me love you by now. Baby, by now, you shoulda trust me by now, yeah. Me say, by now, you shoulda known me love you by now, baby. Baby, by now, you shoulda trust me by now. Me say, wine slow, mama, you do it or me can't live, yeah. You go down, down, you do it or me can't live. Hey, watch out, yo. So ready for the one me woulda lost them for you. I you me busy, me have time for you. Yeah, me ready for the back up at the box and fire. Shoot but me no fi boss. Shoot but me no fi boss. Oh, nah, nah. You shoulda know by now. I me really love ya. You coulda know. telling now, baby, say I love ya, I love ya. Hey, hey, my baby, I love ya, I love ya. One thing now, c'est bien si bien nuesai. De coucou manga faisant, a te si sa sous un posa, bien si bien nuesai. De coucou manga faisant, a te ye, watch I. If you don't love me, who is gonna? I wanna know. If you don't trust me, who is gonna trust me? Like really, by now, you shoulda know me love you by now, yeah, yeah, baby, by now, you shoulda trust me by now. So wine slow, mama, just wine like slow, mama, wine now, wine slow, mama, just wine and slow, mama, wine that slow, mama, just wine slow, mama. Me love the way you do it, wine slow, mama, just wine slow, mama, yeah, yeah, and do the well now. But yeah, you do a sabola. You know this is contact, set the to the well now. Them call me Beenie Gunter, straight out of Uganda. You know talent Africa, contact city away. Find them and do the thing and them straight from Uganda. You know talent Africa. You know me name Guanlini Gunter. Yeah, me one Beenie Gunter. Shit, you know the thing go. Lock the place, shut the place. That's where you're daily now. And we achieve this success with Almighty. You know the thing go. Them can't come in here. For you not believe in a God and you not believe in a love, we not go. Rhyme with ya. Next thing. Yeah, yeah. I already did the talking, you know. Yeah, I mean now. You used to be the one for me. You used to be the one for me. I used to be the one for you. I used to be the one for you. Kachongamba kureke, tubireke, kureke, tujite ngamba kureke, tubireke, kureke, tujite. Said now you wanna fly and go. Get your ambience, wo. Did you go to Daro? Now you want change it. You did fake it. What mankind with faking? Now you want change me. After you changed me, and on the compute for upgrade. As them second down, second down. Baby, me, I beg you, please second down. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. I said second down, second down. Baby, me begging you. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Baby, me, I'm begging you. Una fi second down, take it down slow. Una fi second down. Una fi take it down slow. Run for me life, run for me life. And you used to be response for me smile, yeah. Now you want take it away. Now you want make it end. You shouldn't read ya. Me shouldn't read all the real and lies. But me coulda never rejoice. Me shoulda read, me shoulda rejoice before. Me shoulda rejoice. Me shoulda read all the real and lies. But me coulda never rejoice. Me shoulda read, me shoulda rejoice before. Settle down, baby, me I beg you. please settle down. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Settle down, settle down. Baby, me, I beg you, man, beg you. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. And do the well now. You know them call me Beenie Gunter out of the Gunter City, all in Africa. Straight to Canada and to the world now. You know the thing, girl. Shut the place, lock the place. Yeah, yeah. I stand pan the thing. You know we are there pan the gym. And them know it cannot dim. Now, yeah, yeah, and do the well now, yeah, and do the well now, yeah, yeah, yo, and do the well now. This a can't talk, say the do the well now, but yeah, you do a sabala. Yeah, yeah. Me tell this chat, me say, like the way you buck it up and put it on me. Girl, your body sweet nice, could you put it on me? The way you whine on your booty on me. Girl, your body swing nice. Alright, sting. As in need a kungala bay. A lot of them girls you wanna pay. I coulda you, I coulda me, I coulda be. They throw away, girl. Me woulda spend all my salary. She whine pon me, so she will over me. Because your body nice, tight over me. Spin your body wrong all over. You're running the thing, if I sung you I eat like Beenie Gunter stain pon the thing. Girl, you're running the thing, yeah, like steel. And so like the way you buck it up and put it on me. Girl, your body sing nice, could you dash it on me? The way you whine and you put it on me. Girl, your body sing nice. Hey, watch out. As in need a kungala bay. A lot of them girls you wanna pay. I coulda me, I coulda you, I coulda we. The two away, girl. Me woulda spend all my salary. She whine pon me, so she will over me. Because your body nice, tight over me. Spin your body run all over. You're running the thing, if a song you eat like slick still a ton. Round ya. Girl, you're running the thing, if a song you eat like Beenie Gunter stain pon the thing. You know, right. Na 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 na, like yeah yeah, yeah yeah. Beenie Gun viral, yeah yeah, like yeah yeah. Contact sit to the wild now, yeah yeah, like yeah yeah. Hey boy, this Beenie Gun viral. Anyway, got it my way, got it my way. I don't wanna, hey I don't wanna ride with your vibe. I don't wanna, hey I sing. I don't wanna know, I don't wanna know. Me telling no I sting, say you're weeping, 'cause you heard I'm leaving. You know this feeling. It's good time for healing. Say you're weeping, 'cause you had I'm leaving. Didn't you know this feeling? Takes good time for. I don't wanna ride with your vibe. more. I don't wanna ride with your vibe no more. You know, I've had a bed, I'm on a volcano. You got me feeling like a volcano. Say I don't wanna ride with your vibe no more. I don't wanna. You was my artist. I'm losing my focus, I can't shed. Oh, who's that artist? When I know you want in practice, yeah, I still depend with mind. She feel just because you work it every night. I chew you on 7, well, upon my mind. She feel just because you work it every night. I chew you on 7. I've been loved all my life. I've been hurt all my life. Don't know I won't stop loving you, you. I won't stop loving you, you, you. Yeah, I've been loved all my life. I've been hurt, yeah. Now I know I won't stop loving you, you. I won't stop loving you, you, you. I don't wanna ride with your vibe no more. Yeah, now that's the time when you gotta go, you know. Choose what's best for you. Sometimes you don't gotta stay if them things don't flow like they should be going, like they should be going. And I know everybody know and feels out they should be going when they are feeling alright, when everything is alright. Yeah, yo. Love is a thing where you not have to explain. You just want feel it and you can change. Everything change. You can change. You want to feel the presence day. Everything can change when it dang. In your blood and in your vein. When I, me say you're weeping. Cause you heard I'm leaving. Didn't you know this feeling takes good time for healing? Ride with your vibe no more. I don't wanna ride with your vibe no more. No, no, no. Yeah. Habano pen, I'm on a volcano. You got me feeling like I'm volcano. Missing, I don't wanna ride with your vibe no more. I big up my brother Roberto from Zambia. You must think I'm stupid, taking all my kindness for weakness. Nothing in this world I wouldn't do for you. Don't mean that this is to captivate for you, no, no. So now you wanna rotate it. Say you wanna dominate it, oh, for my kind of boss lady. These I could say you a boss lady. Yeah. You kept on searching when you had me. You thought you found something but you lost me. Now you're busy looking for somebody. Hey, you're weeping cause you heard I'm leaving. Didn't you know this feeling takes good time for healing? Now you're weeping. You heard I'm leaving. Yes, you heard I'm going, and I'm not charging the man. Me just find another girl. Yeah. Me gone. Big up for y'all. For all the parts, for all the things. Well, let me do this one nice one. Now she treating me alright. She treating me alright, yeah. Now she treating me alright. Oh yeah, don't know. Amanie, I'm Gunter, that's straight from Gunter City to the well-known Uganda. But yeah, Toba Sobola, representing and to the well now. You know the thing go. Yeah. We up with the vibe. Up with the vibes. Yeah, let's do this. We are up with the vibe. From you know you believe it in a God. In a God. Show up your one in all the air from. You believe it. Watch out. Messages play for the head. Vibes too high. You side tie, but gun style high. Me way too high. That's why them red eye. Boast them anytime. Me no shy. Yeah, me no so me now. Boast my gun, you know. So me now. Anything you fall for me, have it now. Cellular. Money now, ring pa me cellular, make back broken flat. You know see. Now them know we can't let go with the go do. My mother first and pray for me with the go do now. No first but I real life. Other them not realize. The truth, girl find me flow cute enough. Boy me a mute. No fear, we have no fear. Anything or anything, no fear. Tell them we no fear. No way, no fear. Yeah, we have no fear. Anything or anything, we no fear. Yeah, yo. Tell them we no fear. No way. This a gun boy, them not ready for. I bust my gun with Jah load from me liquor youth, you know. Yeah. Me said this a rust boy, them not ready for. I bust my gun, I bust my gun with Jah. Now them know we can't let go with them go do. My mother first and pray for me with him go do now. In a first but a real life, yeah yo. How that them not realize, yeah yo. The truth and the truth, girl, find me flow cute enough. Boy, me and me out. Racha, I coulda bust them. Nobody not to hear, nobody not to understand this. You are my style, you my wife. Man, I'm in two, but nobody coulda ever expect me. I mean, and nobody coulda stop me. I mean, I'm only tied there with the partners. I mean, ain't nobody coulda start. Ain't no way you can back from me. No, say Jaja in a this. Why I? This is alright. This is so nice. It's so nice. Peace and love. Peace and love. It's all we want, like peace and love. That peace and love spread to one another. Sister or brother, spread one another. Love. Yeah, we give thanks for life. We give thanks to Almighty for everything, you know. Because enough of them past and gone and we're still here. That's how we know we're favored, you know. Yeah, that's how we know. We still have a reason. We're here for a purpose. Yeah. It no matter what you go through in a life, yeah. Remember me, I tell you, there is no success, there is no victory without a battle. See me? Yeah, no matter the struggles we're facing in life, just while still believe in a God. Because Him alone can save you. You can't trust no man, can't trust nobody, trust God. See me? My name Beenie, Gunter, straight out of the Gunter city to the world. Know this is Talent Africa and we're running the world now. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you tomorrow for another edition of AFROFEST Online 2021. Thank you.
Peu plus de haute tension.